Welcome to the first installment
Hello,
of 2021 Pancom
At least you're a
Podcast,
bear.
At least I'm
starring the Freedom Bear, Larry Long Island, and the only one that makes any sense ever, Mike Beltran.
I think it's Long Island Larry.
That's
actually.
right. No, it's Larry Long Island.
I think
Larry Long
I like
Island.
Larry
Listen,
Long Island.
It's really
Yeah,
whatever the fuck I want to make of it.
No,
It's
we
your
came
podcast.
up with the name.
Your name's
It's
on the
your
sandwich.
It's my name on the butt sandwich.
It's your
bread butt sandwich.
It's your podcast. That's fine.
Welcome to Pancom Podcast.
I already did that.
I know, but we're going to introduce the person because you don't like doing this. You just called him Long Island Larry. Larry Carrino, today's guest, is the unfortunate soul responsible for being chef and chili cook-off champion Michael Beltran's publicist.
Yeah.
And
I think we should start the podcast by talking about all the memes that Larry has created about me.
oh, that's good.
Just two.
It's just two.
It's just two, but they're solid.
Show Nick. Show the people.
I showed you already, right? At our on Marty's porch. Didn't I show you the memes?
I think you did.
I will show you again. And I know that this is podcast gold. Is people waiting for me to find something?
But I would just
On my phone.
just refer to it and talk about it, and we'll cut it in post.
Yeah. So basically,
We're fancy here. We cut things in.
I know.
You know, we
I
do
know.
all the fucking
no,
things.
I know. Now you're cutting clips and everything. I'm like, they're getting very, very professional
That's
over
because
there.
people are giving us their money, and we have more money to put to work.
To do all the things,
Oh,
as
we
you
do.
said. So I have had the honor and the pleasure of representing Michael Beltran now for what 2 years almost.
2 years?
Almost.
Wow.
Almost.
Time
so,
flies when you're
But
having
anyway, there was 1 week, and I don't know what Mike was doing that week. He's
It was
always
because of
doing
a
things.
podcast, and when I reference how little the GMCVB does, and they still do very little.
That was the week.
That was the
the
week.
week. So
We can refer back to. You can cut that part back in.
if you will check out
Bring it.
Pancom Podcast episode number 4. Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah. So there was that week, which was magic. And I got probably 3 calls in a row where everyone started the conversation the exact same way, which is, can we talk about Michael Beltran? And finally, I think after the 3rd call, Mike calls me, and I go, I got to tell you something. If one more fucking person calls me and starts the conversation with, can we talk about Michael Beltran, I'm going to kill you or myself. So one of the industrious members of Brusman Carrino Public Relations, I jokingly said to her, if only there was a meme for this, because I don't make memes. I'm old and square.
What?
And she knocked out 2 just absolute gangbuster memes, including Anthony Fauci.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Over the words,
Man of the year.
when people ask me, can we talk about Michael Beltran? And they tickled me to no end. And I gotta be honest with you, anyone I've shown them to, really rave reviews.
They all get it.
They love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
I
So
told you 2 years ago when we were courting each other, because we were courting each other for quite some
There was a
time.
courtship.
Yeah. That, it's going to suck being my publicist.
I wouldn't go that far. That's a little dramatic. He loves to say to me, that I must be your worst client, which is ironically or surprisingly not true.
Nice.
But he's never boring. That is true.
Entertainment value.
There is some
100.
entertainment value.
That's good.
Yeah,
I also, and I tell people all the time, I don't make your job easy in the fact that, like, all the other things that people want to do, I don't want to do any of them.
Yeah. I mean, when our first meeting was, these are all the things I won't do, and it was a very long list. But we have found a way to make it work.
Really, hold on. I got to do the part that I'm actually, like, very sincere and honest.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I for a long time, I didn't like PR people.
Yeah, you told me that on our first meeting.
First meeting. I
don't like PR people.
I didn't like PR people. I don't really know if I can trust them. I don't really know. Like, I know what they do, but I don't know if I like what they do. And then, I've had PR people in the past that have tried to, like, ask me to do shit that it makes no fucking sense to me. Like, I remember once, one was like, so what are you doing this month that's Instagrammable? What? Like, what the fuck does that mean? All our food is Instagrammable. What the fuck? What, are we not splitting a cookie in half? Anyways.
You don't have enough cheese pulls, Mike.
I know. I don't have enough cheese pulls in my life.
Actually, you may not remember this, but in our first meeting, that was that anecdote you just relayed to me was basically part of the courtship, which was you told me that and basically said if I ever asked you anything remotely like that it wasn't going to work out between the two of us. I went, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean,
I don't know if I've ever mentioned the words, what are you doing this week or this month that's Instagrammable,
never. While
at the same time having to be conscious of Instagram and its effects.
Can I finish?
I'm so sorry.
Okay. It's my show.
It's not Pancon Podcast with Larry Carrino.
No, it's
not. My name is not on the sandwich.
No.
No. Go ahead.
So,
I'm sorry.
You know, we went through this whole thing, and I talked to a lot of people about you, and a lot of people had, like, great things to say, which you should feel, because everyone I asked was people like me that are always pessimistic.
Yeah.
So, and I said, you know what? I mean, if we're going to do PR, I guess the only person that I would trust the fate of all these things would be with Larry. And then it was like a solid, like, 6 months of, like, me really, like, drilling things into you guys. Of just like, I won't do this, I won't do that, this is fine, can we do this? And it was like, I mean, we met a lot in those first 6 months, right? And I have to say, not only have you been a great publicist, you have been a great source of knowledge and advice and just overall friendship, and it's been a very, I feel like it's a frat. I pay you to be my friend, but I feel like we're past that. So this is why I'm okay with having my publicist on the podcast. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's been...
What can I say? But thank you. That's very nice to hear.
It's like, and we've talked about this so much, like the world of food is like such a blurry line now. Like editors are influencers, influencers are editors, and people are, you know, getting paid to post about things that we're not sure, and then there's publicists that are bigger on themselves than they are about their client.
Oh, sure.
And then there's like PR companies that are based out of other cities that have no idea what even the Miami food scene is like, and then you have Larry and his motley crew that, I mean, you've been doing this for how long?
25 years. 25
years here in Miami, and anyone that I speak to, either new or old, all know your work and all know the kind of work that you do. And it's like, I think me just being your friend, I think that is something that you should be very proud of.
Listen, it's one of the things that is very, and this is not smoke up your ass, but it is truth in terms of what this job has meant to me, because I was a 20-year-old kid who took a job that didn't realize it was going to become a career, because I literally got the job when I was 20 years old. And the relationships that I have made have not only been what has allowed me to pay the bills over the years and build a practice, etc., but also have a really nice life. You know, people that I love working with, people that I respect. That's not to say that you and I ever always get along or that I'm always getting along with my clients. It's not about that, but it's about respect and having a relationship. But thank you for that. And I'm happy to be here tonight. Am I the only, let me ask this question. Am I the only guest who has done both Tea Time with Mike and Mike and this?
No?
No? I was hoping the answer was yes, because I needed an ego stroke.
No, Danny Surfer.
Oh, fuck Danny.
John Falco
was on Tea Time? Shit, I don't even remember that. I have flashbacks of Tea Time, and it's always of just Mike talking.
John Falco's Tea Time was the first time I saw you drink anything.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, you only had a little bit because you were being polite to him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing this because the power cord doesn't stretch any farther.
This is so good.
Yeah, it's very good.
This is like, it's pretty special. Larry, let me ask you. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I listened to...
You gotta put the thing closer to your face.
Put a little thing.
Fist.
The thing.
Yeah. Fist it.
I listened to the Ask Mike Anything episode, and as you know, I texted you at one point where it was like the George Clooney movie is up in the air. But, of course, you Googled it. Because of technology. Yes.
I knew it.
But a hot dog is most assuredly not a sandwich. It is not a sandwich. A taco is not a sandwich. I really was appalled by the conversation.
Why?
It's not because it's so, to me,
Don't be
painful.
appalled. That's the problem with society now. You can't be appalled by just having a conversation.
I'm not
Go
trying
on.
to cancel anybody. I was just yelling at my.
It
my-
sounds like you're
I was,
trying to be
I
like
was
all the
yelling at
millennials.
I was yelling at the dashboard of my car as I listened while I died a minute at a time in traffic, going, "No, a taco is not a sandwich, you idiots." No, and then meanwhile, who was the guy who walked in? He's like,
Justin.
Yeah, oh, it was Justin.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. And I was like, yes, he's right. It's not. And the whole thing of you have to split the bread. Is a sub technically a sandwich because the bread is still in one piece?
Right.
No, it's a sandwich.
A sub is not a sandwich. It's a sub.
No, it's a submarine sandwich.
It's a submarine sandwich. Thank you,
I guess
Nicholas.
Semantics. But I'm just saying.
Semantics. I'm a
all-
publicist. Let me tell you something. Semantics matter.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Thank you.
Is that what you say?
Words have meaning.
Words have meanings. Words matter.
So here's I did think a lot about this. I love that I'm doing this.
Yeah, it's so good.
I gave a lot of thought to the sandwich thing, and I want to amend my definition. I think that the split needs to be on at least 3 sides of the bread,
that is
but
a
it
good,
doesn't have to be 4,
We will accept this amendment and put it through process and see if it actually sticks.
because this disqualifies pitas,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
But is a gyro a sandwich?
It's a wrap.
No, yeah,
wrap.
it's
a
a wrap.
wrap.
It's not a sandwich.
Thank you.
That's
a
why
wrap.
the
It's a
bread
wrap.
has to be split.
It also needs to be bread, and a gyro is not bread.
It's pita bread.
Yeah,
It's pita bread.
Semantics, Michael.
I'm just saying it's
bread,
pita
it's still
bread.
bread.
It's pita-
It's pita bread. I don't know.
I
like,
agree. If
I would like to start this podcast by saying I had an hour-long conversation yesterday with Nick's sister. Because Nick's sister was up in arms about our whole sandwich taco conversation.
She was passionate about it?
She was passionate about it. I mean, she's like a food scientist, right? This is technically what she does?
she is a food scientist and she's wrong about all of this.
Yeah. Well, I loved everything about that conversation because, one, she said, don't poke the freedom bear, Nick, which I thought was hilarious.
I said to him, at least he's a bear.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's an
Depends which
impressive
crowd.
animal.
Yeah,
It's not the freedom rabbit.
Depends which crowd of people you're talking to when you say bear.
Hey, no
This
matter
is
what
true.
crowd, it's impressive.
You know what? That's very true. That's very true.
It's 2021, guys. Anything is possible.
Be a bear.
Be,
right.
Be a bear.
If you're going to be a bear, be a freedom bear.
Be a bear. If you're going to be a bear, be a bear.
Roar.
And she was just very against the fact. What was it? What were her points? There was so many. I mean, she went off on a tangent, but she said
Here's what I
what,
can
but
tell you.
What really appalled me is she said,
Oh, I
"Do
thought
not."
you got upset at me for being appalled.
No,
You
you're
were
right.
appalled.
I am appalled.
You're
I am
appalled.
appalled because she said, "How dare you savages for putting a hot dog in Wonder Bread?"
Oh, who hasn't?
I know, but everyone at this table is a little hefty, so it's totally acceptable.
Well, you are less hefty than once upon a time.
Big, beautiful men.
Bears.
Yeah,
Bears.
this has gone totally south.
Bunch of BBMs.
This is totally south. And
Just
we're
a
only
bunch
8
of
minutes
bears
into
in a
this
podcast.
No, and my response was, well, the package of hot dog buns comes with 8. The package of hot dogs comes with 10. So what do you do for the other 2?
It's the great
She said,
injustice
You
of
go
hot
out
dogs.
there.
she said, and I said, how dare you? She said, put it in pasta, put it in rice, it doesn't matter. And
Put
I
it
said,
in
"You said
pasta."
put it in pasta.
Never.
What?
As my
You're more appalled about putting a hot dog on
In
Wonder
Wonder
Bread
Bread?
than you're putting a hot dog in pasta?
As my mother would have said, may she rest, I would rather die.
Yeah.
I would rather die, ... And I would rather die than put hot dogs with pasta.
I said, tell an Italian person.
No.
And then I explained to her, have you ever experienced a foldy? You know what a foldy is?
The
Foldy?
Folding.
Yeah, we're big guys, so I thought everyone would know what a foldy is. A foldy is like, let's say whatever the situation is, you're going in to make a sandwich. You've done all the setup. You got the bread, you got the stuff, you got the things, you got the spread. You're all set up. So you know the idea of this sandwich is you're either going to grill it, you're going to toast the bread in the toaster, and then you're going to smear and you're going to do things. Now, you're going into making a sandwich because you are hungry. You walk into the situation with hunger, right?
Yes.
So what you do is you make a foldy. It's like an appetizer. So
Is
you
this
get
the one slice of bread
You get one slice of bread
with the meat and you
with the meat and the spread,
I
and
didn't
you
know
don't
it.
toast.
I didn't know it had a name.
It's a foldy.
So this is like
It's an appetizer
This
for the
is the
sandwich.
sandwich before the sandwich.
It's a sandwich, but it's technically an appetizer for the sandwich.
A foldy.
A foldy.
I just thought I was a fat fuck. I
No,
didn't realize.
no.
I didn't
How
realize
dare you
that I
say
had,
those things about yourself?
I just thought I just couldn't wait for the sandwich. I didn't know I was
Let me tell you,
exercising my rights.
This is a common thing.
Have you ever heard of a foldy?
Yeah. You ever heard of a foldy sandwich, Jamal?
Foldy sandwich?
Yeah.
Hey,
Get out of here. He knows what a fucking foldy is.
He's just agreeing because he's done for the day.
He
He's
said
out.
no. He said no.
No.
He said no. But what I'm saying is, and then I explained the foldy to her, and she said, "Your point makes sense, but it still doesn't make sense."
Keep the poll going here.
Is it? Hey, no, she's British. I'm not gonna go there with her. No,
She's British.
She is. I'm just.
She does. She's
you know what a
sophisticated.
foldy sandwich is? Yeah, you see
I'm
what I
telling
mean?
you, she may know, but she doesn't know.
All
it has
she's
a
gonna
name.
say is like, "You damn Americans" or some shit.
I
like
think you're
that.
making shit up here.
Foldy.
Yeah. So you go to make a sandwich.
Sounds stupid.
See what I'm saying?
It is actually.
You go to make a sandwich, and while you're making a sandwich, you grab one piece of bread. It could be the ends of the bread, and you stuff it with the stuff you're gonna make sandwiches. So you need a
Oh yeah, we
foldy.
call it a butty.
See? A what? Come here to
A
the.
butty.
You gotta say it.
A butty.
A butty.
Because it's like a butt, right?
Yeah,
It's like a butt.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Like
you
a
see?
clam shell.
Yeah, it's like a thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
But does it have to be with the butt of the bread for it to be a buddy?
It's a
No.
folded piece of bread.
See?
Because the others. Okay, I'm thinking the.
So
butt
now,
of the
but
bed.
wait.
The other side.
So
Yeah,
your argument for is it a sandwich or not makes no sense now because it's sandwich bread, but it's folded.
I say that's not a sandwich.
It's a sandwich. You're using sandwich bread.
But it wasn't split.
It's a butty.
See?
It's a buddy.
It's
But it's
a
not a buddy
butte.
sandwich.
It's a butte.
It's not a buddy sandwich.
Semantics. Governor, it's semantics. But,
Oh, man.
But let me
Thanks,
tell
Ash, for
you, it's
this.
a lot closer to a sandwich
I like how
than a
now
hot
the words
dog.
have no meaning. It's semantics is the way out.
Yeah,
Semantics.
it's always the way out. There's always a way out.
Semantics.
You amended your whole thing from AMAs.
It's an amendment.
Yeah, but it hasn't passed. There's people on the floor. They've taken over.
No, hold on. I'm amending I am my own floor.
You are your own floor.
I am my
Oh,
floor.
man.
He's his
Nick,
own coup.
Today
This
is
his own
today is
coup.
a day for Nick. Today is Nick's day.
It's absolutely not my
Today
day.
is Nick's day to
It's
say
people.
how
It's people
dumb
embracing.
everything
You can
is.
come this way.
It's a people. It's people embracing their freedom, and you know,
Yeah, he's the freedom bear.
he's a freedom bear.
So it
There's
makes
nothing freedom about any of what's happening today.
yeah. Well, I mean, you know.
No.
Yeah, they're free to act badly. Anyway,
So we've discussed. Nick doesn't think a foldy sandwich is a sandwich. It is a foldy sandwich. It's on the sandwich bread. You're making it while you make a sandwich.
it's a bastardization of a sandwich. Let's be perfectly frank. Like if you ate that, if that was your lunch, just that, you wouldn't necessarily say I had a sandwich.
Oh,
Maybe
man,
you would.
I eat those all the time.
It's
usually
not a-
wheat is
It's not. Was it a Crunch Wrap? What is the shit from Taco
Crunchwrap
Bell?
Supreme. Let's not get into that. That's not a sandwich. That's a Crunchwrap Supreme. That's its own genre.
I've yet to enjoy.
Nah, but you don't enjoy them. You have to make them because they suck now.
I gotta make a Crunch Wrap Supreme.
You do.
How many have you had that sucked?
Oof, my last 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. Taco Bell, if you're listening, just like El Sembrador, if you're all listening, you guys suck.
How many times are you gonna go back and be disappointed?
But you know,
Every time you just like maybe they got
maybe
it
now's
together.
the time. We all had
It's
that.
like a
one.
bad relationship.
We
You're
had
like
the one.
in a-
We had the one. Everyone had the one.
You have an unhealthy relationship with Taco Bell. Maybe
Yeah.
now is the time that
Maybe
it's
I need
not
to face
abusive.
it. Maybe I need to face it.
You do.
I'm the battered wife of Taco Bell. I am the battered wife. If Taco Bell, if you're listening, I have to let you go.
Don't take him away, officer. He's a good man. Just
I think this is a part of the episode that we started talking about Larry.
oh fuck.
I know.
Oh boy.
You've had a loaded day.
It's been a full day.
It's been a full day.
I
for
mean, a
everyone.
regular day of PRing, and then civil unrest, and then here I am, I'm trying to get closer. Jesus Christ.
I feel like Nick right now. It's like talking to the microphone.
Well, Nick is the one with the cans on his ears. You should tell me if the sound is not.
Nick
Come on,
does
Nick.
have some
I don't
nice
wanna be
cans.
rude about it, you know?
No, don't be rude. People need to hear the
Figure I can always try to
mellifluous
fix it.
voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been a loaded day.
been
Today
a
is
full day.
January 6th.
A lot has
2021.
a lot has happened in 6 days.
Yeah, what I tell everyone, this is just a small extension of 2020. And,
This
you
is
got to
the
go.
director's cut of
You ha-
2020.
Mad Max was set in 2020.
I know.
2021.
I saw that.
2021.
I saw that.
So we're all on.
We're all
par.
on brand.
We're good.
Yeah.
So, Larry, where are you from?
Born and raised in Miami.
Oh, yeah?
Born and raised in Miami. Born in Miami, raised by a family of Brooklyn Italians, half Italian, half Jewish, which I bring that up specifically because you guys on a former episode did an impression of me and made me sound...
You do an impression of me every day.
Literally.
Every day.
To be clear, it was an impression of you doing an impression of Mike.
That was it. It was very meta. It was me pretending to be Mike. It was Mike pretending to be me, pretending to be him. It's very, very strange. It was very being John Malkovich. But, yes, so raised by a bunch of Brooklyn Italians in Miami Shores.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you here in case that comes up again. Please do not do your impression of Mike, because that's what we're going to make people pay for on Patreon.
That's on the Patreon?
Yeah, we got
that for OnlyFans?
We've decided in 2021 we may try to start making some money. Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I was wondering if it was going to come up, but I'll keep it in the vault. I'll keep it in the vault.
Go. Oh, am I supposed to talk now? No, you. Okay, come on, you were in the middle of
No, your text messages.
Things up.
Your text messages
I'm
are very
ordering another
important.
round of drinks.
Oh, is that what's going on?
No, another round. You want to know? Another, all three.
I think he was ordering more tilapia.
Oh my God! Let's not get me going on fucking. Come on.
I'm so sorry.
Brooklyn Italian thing. Go on,
thing.
please. How did you end up here and somehow dealing with me?
Basically, long story short, ended up here is that middle class, half Italian, half Jewish kid gets a job at 20 years old working for Susan Brussman, who started the firm.
Which is a peach. I love Susan.
And you are one of the rare people that Susan loves as well.
I don't understand why, but I love that.
Because she loves your food.
Oh, that's good.
And she loves that you basically don't take any shit.
I love that too.
And she is also, to be perfectly frank, what's ironic is now that you bring it up is that there were many times, because I worked for that woman for many years, and without her I wouldn't be here. But I very much I should have had, this was before the days of memes, where I would have had a meme of when people call me saying, can we talk about Susan Brussman? Oh, yeah. Because this is a woman who, as amazing as she was at PR, had gotten clients so aggravated that one time she got one guy so pissed off, he threw his phone into a lake and then was even more furious because now his phone was gone.
Well, that's his own fault.
That's his own fault. But he was so agitated with her because she pissed him off.
I'm with Susan.
And this is why you two are simpatico. Yeah. So, but anyway, the point being is she gave me a job 20 years ago, and I was lucky enough to come up in the industry, fall in love with PR, but I fell in love with PR because we work with chefs, restaurants, food and beverage. We weren't doing PR for banks, no offense to people who do PR for banks or lawyers or doctors.
Banks do PR?
Everybody does PR.
Oh, yeah?
Fundamentally, or can. But the idea of trying to do that kind of what they call B2B, business to business PR, I don't know how I would get up every morning. I at least get to work with fun, creative people, and there's great perks and there's some fun. But and that is how we ended up at some point, meeting you over the years at different events. Hey, chef, how are you? Big fan, blah, blah, blah. And then one day you calling and saying you want to get together and have lunch, and can we talk? And that was it. And that was what? About almost 2 years ago.
Yes.
And you telling me all the things you wouldn't do if I asked you to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you rather start a relationship just knowing what I'm not?
Oh, everything was on the table. And I think I remember going back to the office. I go, how was lunch? I said, lunch was great. I go, he's going to be a handful if this happens.
Yeah.
And I did. I called it. But
what do you mean you called it?
I called it. I was like,
he's going to.
You're such easygoing.
Easygoing. Yeah.
So smooth.
I know.
So,
in those, 25 years?
25 years.
When did you become a partner? Because it's called Brussman and
Now
Carrino.
it's Brussman Carrino. Susan's name is still on it. Much respect. I became a partner. I think I became VP first, and then eventually became a partner probably about 10 years ago because I was still in my 30s. God, I'm old. And then
You're doing great.
I'm holding it together.
Yeah.
And then eventually, Susan basically one day called me, and it was like in a relationship when someone says to you, "Where is this going?" Which is a great which is usually a very stress-inducing conversation. But the conversation was, I think I see a path for her where I want to step out. And where do you see yourself? And that's where it started. And it wasn't an easy transition. She and I actually fought a great deal during that period, but there was always respect. But probably about 8 years ago is when I took over the agency.
8 years ago.
Give or take, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So and then it became Brusman Carrino.
What was that, the moment that you, like, took over? What was that like? Like, did you feel like I need to change X, Y, and Z, or I want to do X, Y, and Z? Because then, you've worked for someone for so long, and obviously, as much respect for a person that you work for, you still want to change certain things.
Sure.
What was that like?
I would say that the things that I wanted to change were very minimal, and the reason being is because there was so much, I know a lot of people whose stories are, and being a PR guy, the one thing I think that I fundamentally fell in love with PR is because fundamentally it's storytelling. And the one thing I always wanted to do was write, to tell stories.
Stories don't matter anymore, but go on.
I live for stories. I live to tell them. I live to hear them. Until they put me in the box, it's what gets me up every day. Okay? I could to be perfectly honest, if people give less of a shit about hearing those stories, then that's on them. So with the aspect of what Susan did was that, you hear the stories of people who they started with a company and then they realized they wanted to strike out on their own and they wanted to do it differently and they wanted to innovate and wanted this. And that's not to say that I didn't change things. But Susan had created such a wonderful environment that other than a couple rare moments where I thought to myself, is there something else for me? There was never anything where I said, I want to go and do this, but I want to do it my way. Because the way that Susan had sort of built an agency and the vibe in the place and the fact that she's an ex-hippie.
Oh, yeah?
I mean,
No wonder I love her.
She, ex-hippie, hung around with the beat poets, was part of like the electric Kool-Aid acid test and was in the LA underground journalism. Like, her stories are astounding. And she created an environment where it wasn't corporate and it was very fun, but it was very serious. But at the same time, when I would, as is my wont, to start to have a heart attack about something, where Susan would say, it's PR, it's not ER. Calm down. Okay?
I like that.
All right. So when it became time for me to take over, there were things that I wanted to change. There were different styles of clients that I wanted to work with that she would have been, this isn't for us. And I thought that there was value. But it wasn't
monetary or fundamentally?
Fundamentally. Okay. And not in the sense that I think that we should start representing things that were, whether it was beneath us or off brand, but where I said, listen, we can't just focus on this, this, and this. We need to branch out a little bit for the good of the company, for the good, for longevity, for growth, for survival, etc. In the same way that a chef would say, this is the kind of food we're doing, but can't we do some other things to keep it interesting, to mix it up a little bit? And so there were things like that that I did. But fundamentally, the bones of what she built were so great. I was like, what am I going to do? Go out to build something that's very similar to this? So when the opportunity came to take over, she built that thing with no money at a dining room table. I didn't have to do that.
Right.
I got to learn from her and grow and then take on this thing that already had a life of its own. That's why I say without her, there would be no me.
That's great.
I mean, I grew it and I went in different directions, but she started the whole thing.
25 years ago, you take on a new client. What's the first thing you do?
Well,
today,
20 years old, she wouldn't even let me talk to clients.
Okay, so whenever you started to do that, talk to clients.
Talk to clients.
I don't know, 15 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever.
Yeah, let's say probably, maybe about 8 years in, you know.
8 years in, you take on a new client. What is it that you do first? Now, you take on a new client. What is the fundamental difference between what you did at that time to what you do now?
Oh, Jesus. Well, I would say one of the biggest things is that the fundamentals are still there in terms of what we're supposed to deliver for the clients, but all the mediums and the outlets and the this, and I mean, listen, again, I'm 25 years in. We used to, I was stuffing envelopes and mailing out press releases. We had to do a distribution of a press release through fax machines. I mean, the people that I work with now, you talk about archaic. They hit a button and it goes to 600, 6,000 people, et cetera, et cetera. The way that we have to approach everything is so fundamentally different now. And the media world is so fundamentally different. There's so many different platforms. There's podcasts. There's not even so much blogs anymore. That was the precursor, but there's the social
Blogs
media.
you have to read.
Exactly.
Right.
That was the advent of blogs was that first step towards where we are today with Instagram and Twitter and all of that shit.
Right.
But to me now, things have changed from a practical standpoint, but when I talk to a client, it's really mostly about what is it that you're trying to accomplish? What are your visions? I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make money. You're trying to put asses in seats and money in the cash register. But how are we going to do that is the different conversation versus how are we going to do that back then?
How many people are more interested in awards than they are between actual financial gain?
I think fundamentally everyone is interested in financial gain because you can't pay bills with awards. But if I had $1 for everyone who thought that they deserved a James Beard Award, I'd be very wealthy. And that is not to say that there are people that are deserving. And you and I have had a good many conversations about James Beard Awards.
Right.
We don't have Michelin stars yet to discuss yet in Miami one day. But what I try to be is at least a voice to, yes, that is important. I'm not downplaying that. But what else can we do and what else can be accomplished that would benefit you other than just trying to get you a James Beard Award? Mm. Because to be perfectly frank, ego and PR are so intrinsically connected. And as you know yourself as a chef and being a creative person, whether you were a musician or a chef or an artist or a DJ or whatever, ego plays a very big part. Oh. Why am I not bigger than I am? Why am I not on that magazine cover and this loser is? And why is it? This is all part of it.
You know, I think the most valuable lesson from 2020 was when everyone or anything that had awards and whatever, it just didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter. The thing came for all of us.
Yeah.
It didn't care who you were, how many awards you have, how much money you have.
No.
It came for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I've had this conversation exhaustingly the last 3 days because of extra things. But, you know, a goal of mine was to be nominated, and I got nominated. And then a month later or a month and a half later, the world pretty much shut down.
Yep.
And none of that even mattered. What mattered was survival. What mattered was my people. What mattered was health. What mattered was so many other things. So if anyone can take anything out of the year, it's perspective. Because those awards and those stars mean absolutely fucking nothing.
Congratulations, your plaque Congratulations, your plaque is on the wall of a shuttered restaurant. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is at least the type of perspective that I've always tried to give to clients. And it's not necessarily just about awards, but in terms of things like reviews and this, that, and the other. I'm not discounting the importance. I would be an idiot to do so, not from a business standpoint, but from a common sense standpoint. But let's look at big picture here.
To me, it's smaller picture than big picture. The smaller picture is I don't need someone else to tell me that I'm good at my job.
But you want the award, though.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It would be nice.
I don't say that is my, like, one day when I'm 6 feet under, that award is not going to be with me. It's not, the plaque is going to stay on the wall.
Right.
If the restaurant's still open, those things don't matter to me. What matters to me, and something that I've thought a lot about, especially in the last 6 days, and I don't know why, and I guess because life has been extra heavy, but it's been the influence or the influence I can have on the people around me. Can I, instill something in them that they didn't have before? Can I affect them? Can I do something for them that would then maybe they do for someone else in, 10, 15 years, or I don't know. To me, that's really what matters. And yeah, it's not the sexy idea. It's not the competitive idea, because I'm incredibly competitive.
You don't say.
Fuck off. But in reality, you have to come to that moment that it's like, what really matters to me? Mm-hmm. And, awards are cool and they would be nice, but really it's like my people around me. Can I show them something that they didn't know that they had, or that I know that they don't know, mm-hmm. that they didn't have before? Mm-hmm. And then they show someone else, and so on and so on and so on. And that to me is really the most important thing. Egos are huge in this fucking business. Fucking gigantic. And I think people, a lot of people say that I have a huge ego, and I don't. I'm just very opinionated, and that doesn't equal to ego. To me, what matters the most, and I think the perspective that 2020 gave me, was that people, the influence you have on people, that human capital aspect, is the award that you should be given in life. I don't know. It's like, and for you as a PR person, I can sure it's been exhausting. And for 2 years that we've worked together, we've talked about the beards, we've talked about Michelin star, we've talked about things, we've talked about how many things don't make sense. And I don't know, I've eaten at restaurants with James Beard, best new chef or rising star chef, that fucking sucked, that were fucking dreadful, mm-hmm. from the service to the experience to the food to everything. But it's the popular pick. And for me, I don't care. I told him the meal was not good. I don't care which way you slice that shit. It just wasn't good. So, I don't know. I think that's a deeper conversation that people should have with themselves. And don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that goals for me I don't hope for awards one day, but right. It doesn't equal success. And the more chefs that realize that, the more they will be prepared to have a fruitful career.
I have gotten into any number of conversations, sometimes arguments with clients. And listen, we represent a great variety of different, whether it's a liquor brand or it's a food brand. I mean,
we're looking for a liquor sponsor if you're trying to get in there. Anyways.
Let's see what I can do. But is anyone making batch Long Islands? Because maybe I can bring them to the table.
If they name it after you, we'll do the ad for free.
I'm on board. We'll
do the ad for free.
I won't even take a commission. But
it's for free.
It's for free. That one's a freebie.
Yeah.
But where I have gotten into arguments with clients, particularly when you talk about chef operators who were, in my opinion, so much hung up on, and I say this as the publicist, they were so much hung up on all of that, where I said at some point, you're more concerned about these things, and that's not to say that they don't have import and could potentially lead to greater sales or ambassadorships, or you could have a deal with Kikkoman soy sauce, and that's all good stuff, and I know that you want it, and I'm here to make that happen. But when was the last time you actually went into the kitchen and cooked something? Because I've been in your restaurant 3 times in the last month, and I got to be honest with you, it's not as good as it used to be. Yeah. So why don't you let me do this? And you know that I care about your success. And I'm not suggesting that you not care about these things, but I feel like you're putting way more importance on your medallions and your medals and your this than the stuff that you're serving to your guests. Because I'm telling you that the restaurant is suffering while you're in a Twitter fight with somebody.
Oh, Twitter fights are fun.
Well, I've never been in one and I never will be, but it's a thing. But the point is being not, and that wasn't sort of a sideways, attack on anyone, but it was just the idea of where are you putting the energy? And the first thing has to be, and I have to believe this, or I really don't want to do this job anymore, which is what makes a place, when you're talking about a chef or a restaurant, what makes it a place that people love?
Yeah.
It's food, it's hospitality, it's the vibe, it's the Tulum vibes.
Shout out to Ryan Pfeffer.
Shout out to Ryan Pfeffer. But it's about when people fall into. I love this surprising the lighting thing. It's
Welcome
really
to
good.
area
It's
where the
great.
budget is very low.
The budget's very low, but it's surprising. The lights go on, the lights go off. But you know, what is it that people go to restaurants for? Other than the places that
listen, it's 2021.
Listen,
I'm not fucking sure anymore.
Other than the places that people go to because they want to take a photo of themselves going to the place.
What are you doing that's Instagrammable?
Thank you. Versus
Famous last words. My
famous last
PR
words.
person.
So, if that and to be perfectly honest, that's not to say that everything that I've ever represented ever has been the top of the top. 25 years, you have a very varied client list, but the fact of the matter is, I do try to align myself with things that at least I respect and put my name on.
Everyone's got the burrata salad. I say this all the time. You guys have burrata salads too.
It's a good dish.
Yeah, I know it's a good dish.
Who doesn't like a good burrata?
What I'm saying is that burrata is an easy sell.
Of course
so
it
for
is.
you guys have to have easy sells too, because no matter which way you slice it, business is business, and you
Business
gotta
is
pay the
business.
fucking
Exactly
bills.
right. Exactly.
And I don't care. Like I tell people that shit all the time. No matter what the fuck happens, business is business, and you still got to pay rent, you still got to pay payroll, you still got to pay all.
And those
that
burrata
other shit.
salads are helping pay the bills.
That's right.
That's
Just
right.
like the pastrami short rib. I fucking can't stand the pastrami short rib anymore.
How many times have you gonna? It's like the Rolling Stones. How many times do I have to play Satisfaction?
Right.
They paid the ticket price. They
That's right.
want to hear Satisfaction.
That's why every time I talk to my guys, I'm like, yeah, the pastrami short rib is amazing. It's amazing.
It's very good.
It is very good. But, after 5 years, it's exhausting. What I'm saying is, I had a great point.
Okay.
I had a great question. I'm actually going to revert back to a question I asked you 18 months ago.
Oh wow.
Is the birth of the influencer the death of true media? True journalism.
True journalism?
Yeah.
I think it's giving social media far more credit than it deserves to say that it is the death of.
Oh, your answer has changed.
Death is a very strong word.
Agreed.
Death is a very strong word. Has the advent of social media damaged any number of things in this country? Absolutely.
Yes.
Does that include up to and including journalism? Absolutely.
For sure.
And anyone can say any number of things. And that's not to say that social media can't have a positive or valuable effect and can do very good things and bring fun and enjoyment. Sure. You know my personal feelings about social media. You know that I'm not the biggest fan.
Yeah.
Or it's not part of my personal life.
I just want to interject here.
Please.
Because it seems like we're using influencer and social media interchangeably.
Fair.
And they're different things.
That's
fine. Nick is right. This is
the
where
Freedom Bear is absolutely
This
correct.
is where okay. So social media.
And then just to not interrupt you a second time, I'll throw in a question that maybe you'll insert here because now we're talking.
I love that you have to.
Because then you're using journalism.
over-
Yeah. Because then you're using journalism and media interchangeably.
No,
So-
you're right.
so
That's
then-
good.
It's very good.
I think the original question is the birth of the influencer, the death of true journalism.
And so then my question becomes, to which field has the influencer done more damage? Journalism or advertising?
We have added a whole layer. Can you
Journalism.
talk back
In my
into the
opinion,
microphone so I can-
journalism.
I'm just going to pretend right here.
Because influencers can be, love this look. Influencers can be and basically are there to, in some way, shape, or form, can be there to augment advertising. You can pay a social media influencer to do paid sponsorship, etc. And Mike and I have had any number of conversations about sort of the intrinsic, the implicit or non-implicit quid pro quo of I'm hosting you, so I want this on your Instagram or Facebook, whatever the case may be. I think that fundamentally, though, there will always be, and I'd like to think that there will always be an appetite for actual journalism, however you define it.
Agreed.
But has the appetite for that diminished somewhat? I would say yes.
I think that the majority of journalism that's gotten the most love has all been hit pieces. They've just been destroying things. And because the world is enamored by destruction instead of things that feel nice, not everyone watches a Hallmark channel. And that's
Not
exactly like, the bringing down of Mission Chinese, which, yeah, they were fucked up. The latest article by the person that was wronged by David Chang in Eater, I think it was, right? Didn't we talk about that? I mean, she worked for David Chang for 6 months, and she talked about it to a point. And listen, I get it. But it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe the guy's changed. And listen, I don't like David Chang. Like, I've said that a million times. I don't like David Chang. I don't like what he does. I don't like how he does it or how he talks about it. I don't like any of that shit. Half the time, the shit he says makes no fucking sense to me. And I'm not standing up for the guy. But at the same time, it was a fucking hit piece. And it's like, more and more in journalism, the things that you see that stick are just hit pieces. No one wants to hear the feel-good story or the thing that's
because the hit pieces are salacious and exciting, and then they get picked up and they get retweeted and shared and Facebooked and
like fuck that guy. The retweet, the quote tweet.
Exactly.
Fuck that dude.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then even more so, more journalism or lack thereof is here's a question, here's an email, send me back your answer. I'm going to copy and paste that shit, and I'm going to put it in a fucking article. No offense. I know I was in one of those today, and I get it.
And by the way, and then I'm going to get a byline.
And then I'm going to get a fucking byline. And it's going to say via email or via phone call. I'm sorry, but to me, that's not journalism. Like, the things that excited me about food is when I read about food, and I could really feel it.
Yeah.
It's just... And that shit
it's still out there. It's just you got to dig for it, man.
And then now it's like the influencers, like, you're wearing the bikini and eating the pizza. And you get 75,000 likes because people are fucking... It just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And I think that the situation we're in now is worse than when I first asked you that question 18 months ago.
I would agree with you.
And the one... And I was reflecting. And again, I've had a heavy 7 days since the 31st of last year to today. And I was reflecting. I was like, what am I really proud of? And then, I read the thing that in the Eater thing. Was it Eater? Was it New Times? That was a New Times. Sorry.
New Times.
Sorry.
Looking
everyone.
ahead, looking back.
Right. I read the thing, and I was happy with the things that I said there because I totally still agree with whenever I wrote that. In the year 2019 and 2020, did I do any media dinners in which I paid the full bill?
No.
I did not.
No. Can we? I know that this is a thing. Can we take the bathroom break?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bathroom breaks, man.
Bathroom break.
You got to say, man, I got to take a leak.
I got to take a leak.
There it is! Larry's taking a leak.
I got to.
And here comes our 1210 The Man promo.
Boom, 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 boom. Enter Brent Romberg.
That thump you just heard, that was my pen ass hitting the bottom of the table.
Now on 1210 The Man, Romberg's pen ass hits the bottom of the table.
That's going to be our 1210 The Man promo on like every episode.
Fantastic.
Where were we? I was more
But I wanted to bring up
reveling in the fact that I didn't do
break.
any media dinners in 2019
But here's
and
the
2020.
thing, though. But here's the thing. The answer to your question about the media dinners, the answer is true in that how many did you host? All right? But here's the thing is that there is value in hosting media when it makes sense. And this is the thing I try to say to my clients always is, I'm not suggesting that all things should be done. I'm suggesting that there should be at least a perspective of what has value. And here's the God's honest truth. Take social media influencers out of the mix for a moment.
Sure.
For whatever reason, whether it's drop in advertising, whether it's social media, killing traditional journalism, etc., magazines, newspapers, etc., putting aside those that still do anonymous criticism.
Sure.
Okay? They don't have nearly the budgets that they had once upon a time.
That's true.
Okay, and I say this being an older guy, having seen it grow and change over 25 years. So when a publication says to me, listen, we very much would like to do a story, but we would want to come in and experience a restaurant, but there is no budget for dines, would they be open to hosting it? The story that they're doing is a story that is not based on criticism. It's a story based on the experience and reportage. This is what we saw. This is what we ate. They're not coming in to review the restaurant. They're coming in to do a story. So as a publicist to a client, for me to say, listen, their food writer is going to come in. Would you agree to host them? It's not necessarily, if you want to call it a quid pro quo, you can. But the agreement is that we are interested, but we don't have the kind of budget. Certainly, we're going to take care of the server. We're going to do this. And we're not going to order the Chateaubriand and the stone crab platter and the caviar. We're there to have an experience. Sometimes the chef says, listen, you're not ordering anything. I'm going to cook for you. You want to know what I can do because you want to do a story on me? I'll do it. Not every magazine is, whether it's a Food and Wine or a Bon Appetit, where they could go, listen, or a New York Times, where they go, we don't take comps.
But in all honesty, and as much as we've communicated in the last 2 years, how many times do you come to me with something and I say, who is this person and what do they do?
Every time, but I also go to my clients every time with, this is who this person is and this is what they want to do and this is why I'm asking you to host them. Now, you 18 months ago might have said to me, I won't host anyone I don't care, sure. Which is pretty much almost, I'm paraphrasing, but very close to what you said.
No, that's probably exactly
Probably very true,
yeah.
But or on point. But that's not to say that any number of my clients, I have different. Some clients will host almost anyone if I tell them to.
Right.
But at the same token, they are looking to me
and
to be.
Also, if they get any DM and any whatever.
Whatever. But one of the things I say to my clients is, if you're hiring me, you're not to talk to anybody. Let me handle all of that.
Right.
If someone DMs you, you send them my way. Okay. But the idea is that I'm part of the quality control mechanism. Now you don't have to host everybody. I'm here to tell you.
You're a saint. You know that?
She's
Fucking
good.
A.
Wow.
She's good.
Not for you, though, because are you driving? Thanks.
Yes. And I'm fine, but thank you. I don't need another.
I'm here to help, Larry.
Thank you.
I need you.
You're a helper. You're a helper.
You.
My children need me. My clients need me.
I also need you.
All the people.
I don't care about your other
I
clients.
am here
Me,
for the
I need
people
you.
who need me.
Yeah.
So the idea being is that things have value. It's like people who say there is no value in doing this festival, or there's no value in doing.
Let's not get into festivals.
There is value. It's finding the
there's
value.
no value to doing the grand tasting at South Beach Food and Wine Festival.
I
There's
wasn't
zero fucking
referencing
value.
that.
All right,
I wasn't
okay.
referencing that, but I'm referencing in terms of it is very easy to say there is no value in A, B, C, and D. My argument is there absolutely is, but you have to find that value. Okay. And what I'm supposed to do is to be there to say, that doesn't work for you, Michael Beltran, but this does. And you and I have had that conversation. I don't want to do, talking about South Beach Wine Food Festival, I don't want to do the grand tasting. Okay, well, what would you like to do? I would like to host a dinner with this or that chef. I would be down to have that conversation. Then let's have that conversation.
What was my prerequisite this year to do South Beach Food and Wine Festival?
Unless they pay me 100% of my food costs, I'm not open to having that conversation.
Correct.
And I said...
And that should be the case all the time.
And my response to you was, I understand that is your position, and I can communicate that. I can't make that decision because it's not for me to make. But as your publicist, I will go back to the festival, and I will say these. Well, in the same way that I've said to any client when they go, these are my demands for this.
Who's gross?
I feel gross because, like, now we're in this, like, and I had this conversation.
Making bear sounds.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of sound that is, but
very impassioned.
We're having this moment in Miami food.
Sure.
That now it's like, well, all these motherfuckers from the north are now coming.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they're all coming. Major food group. Yeah, you do nice work. You're coming too. And everyone else is coming. And it's, let me explain something to you. I've been here for 35 years, right? And I'm sure things like the South Beach Food and Wine Festival are going to love the fact that these motherfuckers are coming here, right? Because it's easier to get them to their festival. It's easier to get them in their, because now they're in their backyard.
Well, of course.
Yeah. And it's just so interesting to me that the city that they shit on for years, all those other groups, because New York is better and Chicago's better and LA's better. But now, since our economy's open, we're better now. Let's all come here. It's not like, oh yeah, this is the place. Tech groups are gonna come here. Food groups are gonna come here. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but at the end of the day, for the last fucking 25 fucking years, they've been shitting on us hard. So now everyone that's like, let's go to fucking Carbone and let's go here and let's go there, you're all fucking puppets. Because
how excited though would you be to have a Carbone in Miami? Have you ever eaten a Carbone in New York?
I like how excited am I gonna be?
At the opportunity to have a Carbone in
I'm not that
in
excited
the 305.
about it.
I am.
Well, I mean, I will tell you,
And not because I'm trying to get their business, though I am available. But the aspect of it, because my dinner at Carbone sticks in my head of I had an amazing dinner there.
But at the end of the day, where I choose to spend my money,
right,
I'm gonna eat Italian food today.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to Boyade. Also your client.
Indeed.
I'm gonna go to Boyade. I'm gonna go there.
Or
Macchiolina, which I've been there. Those are the 2 Italian restaurants I've been to in the last.
Both spectacular.
Right. I actually went to Macchiolina for my birthday.
I'm aware.
I don't, and not that I think that what they do is bad, but I think that you're opportunistic, and that's fine. That's fucking capitalism at its best.
Didn't we?
That's exactly right.
When we did Marry, Fuck, Kill in the Ask Mike Anything episode, weren't you marrying the surf club?
Yeah.
Was that a Patreon?
But I
only?
only
Because I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that on the.
I'll tell you,
Apple
my true
podcast.
reason
It wasn't on the
marrying-
Apple podcast.
My true reason for marrying the surf club is because of Chef Manny.
So what if there was what if the Carbone in Miami had a respectable local chef at the helm?
No, I mean I gotta like the guy. I mean,
It seemed like very wishy-washy rules here.
no,
very
these aren't-
subjective. Now.
No, these aren't wishy-washy rules at all. I mean, to me,
Capitalism is opportunism.
I disagree with that.
oh, tell me why you disagree.
Why do you disagree with
Here
capitalism
comes
as
the freedom
opportunism?
bear, everyone. It's like gummy bears. They're
Well,
jumping.
it just seems like you're defining it as opportunism. I love that this is the only way I can talk into this.
It's the fucking best.
You're gonna get a neck. You're gonna have a neck crick.
This should be forever.
Yeah, I mean, capitalism. I think people can be opportunistic within capitalism.
as they are.
Sure,
Yeah.
but I think it's more about free exchange, right?
Can it be both?
It
Why
can-
is it
no,
mutually exclusive?
It can be both, but I don't. But I think it would be a mistake to define it as opportunism.
Okay, I feel like that's semantics.
Yeah.
See,
And we're back to semantics.
I feel like it's Pee Wee's Playhouse, where it's like the word of the
after
day
the
is-
episode,
Because
please
they're-
look
because-
up the definition of semantics.
Because capitalism is also, in my view, the reason that people pursue things that an opportunist wouldn't, right? You can also just create a market. You can generate demand. You can. There are people who would approach it
But isn't a
opportunistically.
capitalistic endeavor based on that you saw an opportunity
I mean,
to make money?
no, I don't think. Yes, but you can. But I think that's different.
no or yes, damn
But that's different from being opportunistic. If you're opportunistic, you're seeking out the opportunity. But I think capitalism also allows for creating the opportunity, creating markets.
Okay, tomato. But I think your point. But I honestly I see where you're coming from. But I think that both. Oh, Michael's having an aneurysm right now.
Welcome to Pan con Strokes.
I've had a moment for the last 5 days because everyone's like, all these New Yorkers are coming down. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. I'm still going to be here in the corner of the Grove doing my thing. And it's like all the other New York restaurants that are going to come, and that's cool, and I appreciate it, and that's fine. But where the fuck have you been for the last 20 years?
I would like for the
They've been
publicists of Mr. Simon Kim to stop listening to this right here as we are trying to schedule you as a guest.
Future guest of the podcast.
Yes, I know. Coat opening up February.
Yeah,
Cool.
we're looking for a date in January to record with Simon
I
Kim.
can tell you who's doing his PR.
No, I know. I'm in
It's
touch
all
with
right.
I'm in touch with them, and I want them to
You're
turn
doing
off
their
their
PR?
phones.
I am not.
Deep sleep?
No, deep sleep. No.
My bad.
We'll do this off mic.
All
We'll do
right,
this
off
mic.
air.
Yeah,
on the
we can
Patreon.
It's on the Patreon.
If you
This is
pay
for
$40
OnlyFans.
on the Patreon, now we're putting tags on it. This is like OnlyFans, $40 a month.
$40 a month to hear the Simon
See
Kim
PD
interview.
dick pics.
Yes.
I don't know. It's just
You're not. Here's the thing and this is the thing. This is very much a dynamic of my relationship with you. It's not
Oh,
that
what a
you're
dynamic.
wrong.
Yeah.
It's not that you're wrong, but you're not 100% right either. Because there have been times where I've
right
said
to who?
in my opinion.
Okay, all right.
All right.
That's fine. That's fair.
Because I understand where you are, where you go like, well, where the fuck have you been for the last 20 years? They've been doing their thing, whatever. Now, I do think that opportunism would be an easy definition for someone who, let's say, shit on verbally, whatever, in interviews or on social media, shit on Miami in any way, shape, or form, and then saw an opportunity and decided, I'm going to open a restaurant. You could make a claim then of, oh, how easily you change your tune when you see that there's money.
That's a solid point.
That's easy. That's easy. The more fundamental element is of, if a company just wasn't here for any number of reasons and then decided that, to my point with Nick, they saw an opportunity to expand because there was, let's say, the opportunity to make money, then why not expand to South Florida?
Right.
But I do think it'd be very easy. It'd be like someone who was running a very successful restaurant. Let's say for you, for example, and I'm totally making this up. Let's say you were running a very successful restaurant in Coconut Grove and you had been shitting on South Beach for the last 10 years of your life, which you haven't been.
I have not.
You have not.
We have a bar in South Beach that's fabulous.
Right. So I'm aware of it. But but then one day you saw an opportunity and then suddenly look at this. Look at this. This Michael Beltran motherfucker decided that he's going to open up. He's been shitting on us for 10 years, but now he saw an opportunity to make some dime, and now he's doing this and this. That's where you could say, I think objectively, not subjectively, objectively, like how easily you change your tune, sir, when it benefits you. And I think we're seeing that in our politics, where you go, wow, you said a lot of things 4 years ago.
Politics are gross.
Fair enough. But your tune is so very different now, my friend, because you see which side the bread might be buttered on, and that's the side you're going to. There, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Where I go, that's opportunism.
Yeah.
But you've sold your soul. You've sold any goodness. You've sold any, what's the word I'm looking for? You sold any sense of pride and dignity in the chase for that dollar. And that's the level of capitalism where I go, that's fucking gross.
Yeah.
That's gross.
I guess you make a fair point.
This is what I try to do. Perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you make a fair point. I think for me, it's like the years of like Miami's not good enough in comparison to.
Dude, that's every day of my life when I talk to national media.
Oh, I remember the hyper local jugs. I remember
Let's
that.
Let's not.
Yeah, let's not go into that.
Let's not go into that.
Hyper local.
Yeah.
Fucking losers. But it's more the fact that now we're this hub and we're going to be all these things. And really, we're only the hub because we're fucking open. That's it. Like, we're not a hub because you liked us before.
Your point will be well made when the rest of the country is the way we are right now. And people are like, you know what's the hub right now? Bismarck, North Dakota. All right? We're like, we see ample opportunity to grow in the Dakotas. And you're like, oh, the Dakotas are where it's at now? You've seen it where it's like suddenly it's this city, it's that city. Once upon a time, you know, the South being the hub of anything that was cool and hip, etc., whether it was suddenly, oh, Nashville's a thing now. And I'm not shitting on Nashville. I'm just saying it's in terms of how the narrative changes of,
it's how the national media decides to change the narrative.
Exactly right.
Because things can never be too hyper local for them unless they decide it to be.
That's right. It's
And
only
soon-
it's only hyper local and not interesting until they determine that it is.
Soon, Miami will be great for the national media because it won't be so hyper local because Carbone is here.
Maybe, maybe not.
I don't fucking know.
Who the fucking knows? But here's the thing. The cream, I have to believe this. In order to do what I do every day, is that the cream will rise and there's going to be different groups of people that are going to want and need different things. And I've had a great number of conversations, particularly since COVID, with clients about, and not just clients, but people that I love and respect in this industry, of the business that they are doing and the crowds that they are drawing, because it is always a matter of survival in the restaurant industry. The margins are so slim. It is such a difficult, oftentimes thankless business.
Yeah.
But particularly during COVID, where you go, what is it that I am doing in order to maximize every dollar that comes in? And where am I making compromises that I'm no longer comfortable doing?
Right.
And it's not a matter of demographics and how hip is the crowd in my dining room. Are they the beautiful people? Are they not the beautiful people? Their money is still green. I don't give a
All people that
shit.
spend money are beautiful to me.
But that's where we're at right now in a certain number of ways, because the dollars are, everyone is scrapping it out even more for every dollar.
Yeah.
As opposed to they were in February of 2020 when we were looking at a really great second quarter before the world ended.
Yeah.
And then it was like, are they homeless? Do they have $5? I would welcome them to my restaurant.
Right.
As opposed to, I really don't think that's the brand. It's not on
Well, I
brand
think
for us right now.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because I really feel like we did well here as a company, because I referenced like something I actually wrote in like a journal. I don't have a journal anymore, but I had one like 10 years ago. And I wrote like, I want to open a restaurant that's kind of like for everyone. Mm-hmm. That can be someone's birthday dinner, or someone's Thursday night dinner, or Tuesday night dinner, or a rich person's Monday night dinner. Like, I don't know. I want it to be that for the community. And I think the reason why we did well was because we are a restaurant for the community. We are a community place. And like, yeah, our food is higher end and we are a higher end thing. But if you come in with shorts and a t-shirt and you sit at the bar and you have a chug burger, it's like, yeah, you're as good as the person that's sitting on table 12 having a duck press and drinking a $400 bottle of wine. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter to us. We're going to give you the same kind of service, and we're going to give you the same kind of experience. And, and I think that's essentially a lot of problems with Miami, and have been for a long time, is that they only want a certain type of clientele. And I don't care. I want everyone, because of where I come from, to be able to enjoy these kind of things. So I hope Miami changes their perspective, because this year should be nothing but perspective for people. I have a question for you. This is a terrible lead-in, because
right.
Nick told me to ask the question.
He's been very quiet this whole interview.
That's because he has to lean over into his microphone.
Is that what it is?
No, I don't like interjecting here.
Larry Carrino, how do you feel about ghost kitchens?
Oh, this fucking thing.
You asked for it. You
know what?
told me
It's
you wanted to
true.
do this.
What the precursor for the listeners in Salina, Kansas. So we
have three,
but all three. But the precursor was where I listened to that episode and I texted, because you were railing against
I am
ghost
railing
kitchens.
against
You're not a
them
fan.
all the time.
You're not a fan. And my response, what I was basically, I think, implying to Nick was, what are my feelings about ghost kitchens is fine.
What does that mean?
Fine. Meaning if someone wants, and I'm not shining a spotlight on him, since we mentioned David Chang. I'm not shining a spotlight on him for good or for bad.
How's it going?
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
My point is, if someone wants that chicken sandwich, he is a business person who saw an opportunity and created a thing to sell a thing. And if people want that chicken sandwich, whether it's good or bad, that's a whole different conversation, then kudos. And if people want it, fine. The question is, what do I feel about it is there's opportunities for that, and there may be a place for that in the marketplace. But in my personal opinion, a ghost kitchen is in no way, shape, or form a replacement for a true dining opportunity or a dining experience. In the same way, if someone only wants to look at photos of cheese pulls and hit like on Instagram, then you know what? The world is your oyster. Live on your phone. But if you want to have legitimately compelling and delicious and artful and food with soul and care and concern and technique and all of those things, then you probably should not be picking your dining destination based on how great your photo's going to look while you're eating your 17-foot tall shrimp cocktail, but it'll get a lot of likes on Instagram. I have to believe as not just as a PR person, but as a business owner, that there's room for these things for everyone. But do I think ghost kitchens should or will replace? No, in the same way that I do want to believe or have to feel like as much as I love, and now being particularly, forget about the age of COVID, but being a father of two who doesn't get out to see movies in theaters the way that he used to do before he had children, that there is something to be said for the experience of seeing a movie on a big screen. I love the convenience of being able to pull up a movie at home because guess what? I'm not leaving my house, and I sure as shit I'm not going to a movie theater right now. I didn't get to see Tenet, but I'm going to watch it on Netflix. Yeah, but that's the kind of thing where I would have been one of the first people in line to see that movie because the experience is the thing. To me, on demand is like the ghost kitchen of restaurants. Does that make sense to you? Of movies, rather.
I mean, I guess it does make sense to me, and at the same time, I'm with you. Like, I would prefer to watch Transformers or like the Avenger movies.
I would suggest not watching anything by Michael Bay. But anyway, that's just me. No.
Star Trek.
Michael Bay did. I don't think he did Star Trek.
He didn't do that.
That was J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, Star Trek, the big things with big things blowing up.
You want to see the things.
Yeah,
yes.
That's fine. And first and foremost, do not take anything away from the early Transformers movies because they were solid. For a younger demographic that enjoyed things blowing up and
for people who still needed to call their moms and dads to wipe their butts, they were fantastic.
I mean, you're talking about kids up to the age of 20.
Kids to the age of 20?
Oh, come on. Really? Kids now are up to the age of 30, for fuck's sake.
Listen, I'm a 45-year-old kid. There's a line in the sand.
That's true.
Okay. There's a line in the sand. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy with The Mandalorian. I have some problems with it. But
the last season was very good.
The last season was better than the first season.
Of course, but everything builds up.
Not everything.
Not everything.
You guys have...
Really? Did you?
Some things get worse.
Did you stick with Lost till the end?
To the bitter end.
I am still
bitter end.
My ass still hurts from Lost.
Bitter end.
To the bitter end.
Lost. I've even thought about going back and watching it again.
No, never. No. As much as I appreciate and respect J.J. Abrams, I will never forgive you, sir. But meanwhile, I will never forgive you.
JJ, if you're listening, we'll have you on the podcast just to counter Larry here.
Yeah. But meanwhile, one of the other gentlemen whose name eludes me at this moment went on to redeem himself with The Leftovers on HBO, which to me is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen in my life.
You got to pay for HBO, guy.
Excellent show.
Excellent show.
You got to pay for that shit. I don't watch that shit.
Shit's amazing. The Leftovers wrecked me.
You're paying for Disney Plus, bro.
Anyway.
I'm not. It's actually on a 6-month free subscription. Listen, we're waiting for the sponsorships to hit here on Bonko Podcast.
Thanks to Drew Estate, whose ad played earlier in this episode.
But to your original point, though, there's room for all of.
We haven't done it yet.
Excuse me. We have to hope that there's room for all the experiences. As much as I love going to Publix and getting a pub sub, there's a very big difference between that and getting a sandwich made in a restaurant. It's all part of the whole thing.
What equates a sandwich? Anyways,
here we go.
I'm saying
we're back to sandwiches.
The ghost kitchen.
Yes.
Do you do any ghost kitchens financially help you out?
I am currently not representing. Actually, to be perfectly frank, let me stop you right there. I am actually currently. I'm sorry. I currently represent a ghost kitchen.
You do.
I do.
Oh, then this is not a fair conversation.
It is a totally fair conversation.
Oh, this conversation.
It's a totally fair conversation.
It's now going to be wiped out.
It is.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it does because I can be honest and have my thoughts while at the same time represent clients.
No, man.
Yes, absolutely. No. If I
will step in here and say that it disqualifies him no more than you're competing against them disqualifies you.
You know what would disqualify me? You know what would disqualify me from this conversation? Would be if I shit on them left and right, and then after I left this podcast, you found out that I represented one.
Well, that's why I asked you.
I don't shit on
Hot
them.
button
I don't
question.
shit on them, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I represent one.
Which one do you represent?
MK Takeaways.
No idea what that means.
Family owned and operated.
Cool.
Lovely husband and wife team out of Broward County. They
great.
started it. Listen, they do an amazing job. They do what they do, and I have worked with them beautifully for the last 6 months. They created something, seeing an opportunity, back to the word, in the marketplace, and they hired me to help get the word out. For people who want to have food delivered to them, particularly during COVID, they were a great benefit.
Don't do that now. Don't use COVID as especially during COVID. Let me explain.
All right, you explain.
Let me explain.
Are you mansplaining?
I'm explaining.
Explaining.
The world of food,
Yes.
in my eyes. And listen, people can disagree. I appreciate that you disagree. Nick disagrees with everything I say. A lot of people disagree with a lot of shit that I say. Food and restaurants, to me, is a very romantic situation, right? It is a purity. It is something that it is one of those last moments at a table that people can enjoy together, right? That people can have community and conversation together. Ghost kitchens do not provide that. They do not provide the craft or the artistry behind them. They just do not. Because everything from the second you walk in the door to the way you leave the door is curated by that person that has thought of the whole thing, right? So to me, a ghost kitchen, all they're trying to do is to take me out of business. And listen, I am a very primal individual. People come at me in any kind of way, you're going to get some kind of return. And to me, the whole ghost kitchen faction is something that eventually, if we let it continue, it's in essence the world of electric cars versus gas
power?
cars. Yeah, gas cars, right? The whole gas. Shut up with your.
Shouldn't we be off gas at this point, though, in 2021?
Listen, that's not the point.
All right,
that's not what I'm talking about.
We won't get into the environment.
I'm not talking about the environment because I would probably agree with you. But what I'm talking about is the gas companies and gas cars fighting that for their survival.
Right.
That is essentially what.
So
it is.
are you Exxon in this analogy?
Yeah, no, I am. I'm Exxon.
I loved your work with the Valdez.
I'm Amoco. I'm Amoco.
Moco.
Amoco.
You're a Mogo?
I'm mobile.
Am I racetrack?
I'm also Chevron.
I'm also
racetrack.
Chevron. Chevron. I'm all of those. And the electric cars are coming in to take my business. And
it's not a great analogy. I'm going to be honest.
It is a great analogy.
It doesn't work at all.
As your publicist, this is a
No.
terrible analogy.
Well, I wasn't even thinking about that level, but so
As a friend and publicist, it's not a good analogy.
no, I agree that it's also not a good analogy for that reason.
Yeah.
But I don't agree that it's like the electric and gas powered cars.
It's not even a little bit.
Because there will always be demand for some gas powered cars,
Yes.
the ones that do it the most artfully. In the
Right.
same way that there's
a 61 Cadillac.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Thank you. You beat me to the punch.
There you go.
For the people who want to have the vintage Mustang, the vintage Cadillac, they are going to want that.
And
The times change, my friend.
Exactly. And there was a time when people were still eating sitting in a fucking Pizza Hut.
I was
God
actually
bless
going
you.
to
I've talked about Pizza Hut so
And-
much.
and I was going to say, his argument would discount things like delivery pizza restaurants,
And the only
which have a great place in the social structure.
I'm going to throw in here.
No, they don't.
100%. 100.
If I want a good fucking pizza, I'm not ordering Domino's. I'm ordering
You
Domino's
eat at
'cause I know
Taco
it's
Bell.
ratchet.
You eat at Taco Bell. If you
So
wanted
you
a
eat
great
at-
I
taco,
know that I'm eating at Taco Bell because it's ratchet as fuck, and I'm okay with that.
And you
people
like
who are
it.
eating at Pizza Hut know it's ratchet as fuck pizza, but they're still doing it. If you
And they
wanted
enjoy
good
it.
tacos, you'd go to Tequiza. You'd go to any number of places.
But ghost kitchens aren't saying that. What they're saying is that they're bringing an experience to you, and they're not. They're giving you food in a fucking box, man.
The people who say they're bringing an experience to you, that's PR spin. strip away the
You're
PR.
the PR spin.
That's exactly right.
You are the PR spin.
Strip that shit away, Michael.
Strip it away.
Strip it away.
It's
What are they
still-
doing?
It's essentially
They're
food in a fucking box.
That's right. And so is pizza. Food in a fucking box. Taco Bell is food in a fucking wrapper.
And they're all telling you they're bringing you an experience
that's
of some
all.
kind.
That's right.
There is no experience there. I know when I go to Taco
It's
Bell,
food.
it's ratchet as fuck.
But that's what they're telling you.
But that's what they're selling you. They're selling you this experience.
The Ghost Kitchen is selling you something that they're saying they're bringing X, Y, and Z kind of dining to your house.
That's
Do you
what they
believe
all say.
everything people say to you, Michael?
I believe nothing that anyone ever says to me.
Then you're fine.
I am not the majority of the world.
The majority of the world, we're in a very shit situation in the world right now, Michael.
I'm
So-
shocked. Really?
You wouldn't know.
You didn't see Jurassic Park in DC today? I am fucking shocked. by that.
I was more it was more like Mad Max Fury Road. It was actually, I felt like I was living in an episode of Watchmen.
I felt like I watched a bunch of people that look like my dogs today running around DC.
It was a beautiful day for America and for freedom. Really.
Well, I mean, the
Wow.
Freedom Bear would double down on this.
I would not.
I think it was Nick kicking in one of the windows in the Capitol, actually.
It was me in the furry horn hat.
Larry's got a lot of opinions about your shit.
I would love. This could be in the Patreon segment.
I just met him a month ago.
I know Larry's got a lot of opinions about
We'll
your shit.
leave all this for the Patreon segment.
I guess that's fine.
Let me know when you want to do the wind down.
$40 on
We're
OnlyFans.
an hour and a half in.
PD dick pics.
Is it an
and
hour and a
why-
half, really?
Give or take.
Wow, look at that.
Come on. We have coffee sometimes for 3 hours. You enjoy my crazy conversations.
Me or him?
My point. No, me and Nick don't talk. But
I once said I was going to have coffee with Mike, and I said, should we invite Nick? He goes, no.
No.
yeah,
No.
Incorrect.
He's like, you could. I go, but
Then
Nick
we'll never leave.
But he's like, but Nick and I have said. I said, but Mike, Nick and I have been talking about getting together for coffee. He goes, can I do the impression?
Oh yeah.
He goes, I said, but Mike, Nick and I have been talking, and this is true, Nick. You and I have been talking about having coffee and having a cigar, right? I said, but Nick, he goes, then have a cigar with Nick. Then have a cigar with Nick. Let's not make it a whole group thing. And I went, all right, okay. But this is before I met you. And I was like, I could have a cigar and a coffee with Nick independently. We could be independent
That
friends.
still hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened. But we,
so are ghost kitchens and food halls the same thing?
no.
Questions?
Why are they not the same fucking thing? They are the same thing. The business model is the same.
Why is a helicopter not a moped?
I don't understand.
I don't understand you.
What do you mean?
How's a food hall and a ghost kitchen the same thing? A ghost
Because
kitchen,
there is zero experience in both.
absolutely wrong.
How is that absolutely wrong?
Completely
A
wrong.
food hall. I'll tell you why.
I was in a food hall.
So was I.
So was I. I've eaten at them.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I had experiences.
You want me to here's the very easy. Mike looks so
disgusting.
Mike
I am
is so
disgusted. I need to shower 16 times before I go to bed today.
okay. Mike is so distraught. Listen to me. This is why they're different. Okay. A ghost kitchen, and I'm not even gonna forget about PR.
Okay.
The ghost kitchen is we are delivering a thing to you in your place of residence or your place of business. Okay? Okay. Basically, fundamentally,
Restaurants do the same thing.
it's fucking takeout. Okay? Okay? All right. It's delivery. It's not even takeout because you're not going there to pick it up on your way home. They're delivering it to your home or your place of business.
Okay.
A food hall is a physical structure, whether it's indoor, outdoor, whether it's timeout market, wharf, whatever you want to fucking call it, you're going to go the wharf. But
They're doing great.
It's a place, they're doing great. It's a place you're going to go to have food, drink, conviviality, etc. You're going to be in that place physically.
I mean, basically, we're talking about a food court. But go on.
Tomato, semantics. The point is, you can say, if you want to say a food hall is a hyped up version of a food court, that's fine. You can say it. You can say it. But my point is this.
No,
a
but
food
wait,
hall
but it
is a
is.
physical place where you go.
Bourbon chicken.
I love bourbon chicken, but actually I'm more of a Kung Pao man myself. But anyway, the point is you're going to a physical place to have food and drink. A ghost kitchen is delivering food in a fucking box, as you said, to your place of residence or business. It's not even the same thing. It's not even the same thing. And neither one, Michael,
food halls not
neither
do
one
it?
of them are replacements for what you do here.
Do food halls deliver?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because because I'm asking a question. Do food halls?
Did you do
delivery?
Uber Eats or DoorDash out of your kiosk at
no,
Time Out?
I didn't.
So it's not about the food hall; it's about the vendor.
No.
It's the vendor.
Well,
so if
well,
they don't
because
deliver,
I don't promote using the evil empire.
if
That's
they
why.
don't deliver, then automatically
Stop
you've
with your
But
weird
You've been on
Nick,
Uber Eats.
Nick, would you agree?
for chugs.
Okay.
All right, Nick.
Yeah, because 30% of a $2
Okay. So you
piece of bread is different.
So you're saying you don't promote it, but you do it sometimes when it works.
But essentially, it never worked.
Okay, then you did, and that's when you stopped doing it.
I mean, how many times have you gone for that fakakta crunch wrap at Taco Bell and been?
Fakakta crunch wrap.
How many times have you been upset about the fakakta crunch wrap?
What is the fakakta crunch wrap?
Fakakta, it's Yiddish. It's like fucked up. It's this bullshit thing. How many times do you keep going back to Taco Bell? You're like, it's been terrible the last 3 times I've had it, but I keep going back. So
Can I tell you, by the way, 100. Mike doesn't text me a lot of food. 100% of the time that Mike has texted me a photo of what he's eating because he's excited about it, it's been thin crust pizza from Domino's Pizza.
That sounds accurate.
aren't you promoting a ghost kitchen by giving them your money?
No, I'm not at all.
Domino's is not a ghost kitchen?
It's not a ghost kitchen
Why not?
because it's Domino's Pizza.
It's creating food and it's sending it to you in a fucking box.
It's a Domino's Pizza is Domino's Pizza.
Oh my God, Nick.
No,
Nick, help me, man.
Oh, I don't know what to do.
Because I go into it knowing it's not good pizza. I go into it knowing this is not a good product I'm eating. I mean, I feel terrible about myself.
But you like it. When I eat a chug burger, I feel awful about myself.
That shit's delicious.
But I eat that shit because
No,
it's
but that's
good.
different. That's
You know what?
'cause
I
there's
could
a lot
go
of calories
for.
involved.
I can go for one right now. It's pretty delicious.
No,
but
the
anyway.
kitchen's closed.
God damn it! As your publicist, I can't. No, I can't
I
pull
know,
any.
kitchen's closed. Curfew
God
is soon.
damn
Francis-
it! God damn it!
Francis
COVID.
Daniela Levine.
COVID
Cava,
ruining
Frank-
everything.
Not only do I feel
Curfew
awful
is
about myself, but the chef is looking over my shoulder, berating me for not dipping my fries in the chug sauce.
Oh yeah, but it's a good move. It's a good move. Hear me out.
Yeah.
So when someone gets ghost kitchen food, are they going in thinking that the food is bad?
It depends on the person.
Oh, get the fuck out of here! You're going in thinking that you're getting a thing. It's
You're
a
saying the
bowl
thin
of
crust.
Tacos
Do you
and
realize
they're
how fucking
fresh
crazy you
tortillas.
sound
You
right
sound
now?
nuts.
You sound nuts.
I don't sound nuts.
You do.
Yes.
You're
No,
eating
I
the
don't.
thin crust pizza from Domino's that you say you feel bad about, but you keep going.
I
so,
feel bad about because I know it's bad.
but you still
Do you know
order
why?
it.
Do you know why I ordered the Domino's pizza? Because Stanzione is closed.
Be that
That's
as
why.
it may, you still give him your money, and I'm
It
sure
is 100%.
I know it's closed, but that's not why you eat
It is.
you
why I
like
eat
it.
If I had to choose to spend my dollars between someone that's
Different
here-
conversation. You
no,
conflate.
that's not a different conversation because it's closed.
You're the conflator. You conflate.
You're you know what you are? You're a conflation bear.
You are a conflation. He's a conflator.
He's a conflation bear.
I do not think they are equal.
Oh my
They
God.
are not the same.
Oh my God.
I go into listen. Is a Hawaiian pizza a good pizza?
Never.
Never.
I don't order it.
But that's what I order because I know what I'm getting myself into. It's a bad pizza
What?
that I like.
So you like it.
So it's not bad.
So it's not bad.
No, it's bad.
But you like
That's a
it.
subjective
Hold on.
call.
Wait. So you go into watching
Uh-huh.
a random movie, the things that you watch, right? Like
Oh, I watch absurd things.
Absurd things.
Yeah.
I was
Thinking
hoping
that
it would
it's gonna be
take.
good?
I was hoping it would take a turn
No,
into
but,
movies.
but thinking that I'm going to enjoy it.
But it's bad.
But that's what that's the enjoyment that I take from it.
That's
So-
the Domino's pizza for Nick's movie going.
Yeah.
So is that the same effect that ghost kitchens have? You're going into it
but-
knowing
but
that it's
it's
bad.
Your question presupposes that everyone who orders from a ghost kitchen, regardless of the ghost kitchen, that the reason they're ordering it is that they acknowledge that it's bad, but they're still doing it. There are people who think, I know this might blow your mind. There are people who think, I am sure, that the thin crust Domino's pizza is good pizza. I would agree with you.
That's gross.
I would agree with you that it is not good pizza.
It's not.
Fair enough. but you keep ordering it. There are people, I'm sure, who might order from this ghost kitchen or that, and they think it's totally fine. Okay? But there are other people like yourself who might feel really bad about their ghost kitchen experience, but they go, but I can't stop.
And I will also
It's so
say
bad, I
that
love it.
But
you're
okay,
assuming that all people who order from ghost kitchens treat it as alternatives to upper tier dining experiences.
It's not. It's an
People are ordering-
add-on. It's another option.
Well, right, but some people are ordering as an alternative to Domino's, as an alternative
Right.
to other delivery options, not as an alternative to you.
So, you go to eat a wet burrito at Taco Rico, right? Is that like real good Mexican food?
What is a wet burrito at Taco Rita?
Taco Rico.
Rita.
You've been here for you were born and raised here,
Miami Shores.
man.
I'm so
Taco
sorry.
Rico. I mean,
Is this a Westchester thing?
More
you
or
know,
less.
yeah,
All right.
more or less, I guess. Like Taco Rico, I've been going there since I was like a kid.
Never been.
They have an extra large, and the burrito is about yay big.
Is it good?
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
but it's not real Mexican food.
But here's the thing: is it's good.
That I don't care.
But-
That's a different point.
Yeah.
Oh, so we don't care if it's like real Mexican food.
If I wanted,
let me ask
if
you
I
this.
wanted real Mexican food, this does not sound like the place that I would go.
Where would you go?
Where would I go? A place I don't represent
Would you go to a ghost kitchen?
for real Mexican.
Yeah.
If there was a ghost kitchen that was doing real Mexican food, I absolutely would. But if I wanted the fakakta taco wrap bullshit that you eat, I would go to Taco Bell, and then I would be in the bathroom the entire night.
Yeah, no. I mean, I feel like this fundamentally.
Listen, here's, you know what it is. Here's what and I don't think we're ever going to solve this. If I wanted a really
Absolutely
good
not.
steak, there's a number of restaurants.
Oh man, so let me ask you.
If I wanted a really good steak, I probably wouldn't go to a chain steak restaurant.
would you go to a ghost kitchen?
To have a steak delivered to my
Yeah.
house? No, I would not.
You would not.
No. If I
Okay.
wanted a really good steak, I would go to a really good steakhouse.
So what are you getting at ghost kitchens? If you can't go to a restaurant, if you can go to a restaurant, and get a
Depending
steak,
on what the ghost kitchen was doing,
So the ghost kitchen is not restaurant quality.
it can be.
Yeah.
How can it be? If you just said you're not ordering a really good steak from
That's a
ghost kitchen?
steak. You don't conflate. You're
No,
conflating.
I'm not conflating.
You're
I'm
conflating.
saying if the kitchen is equal to a restaurant,
Okay.
if the food should be equal.
But not
Can I-
all restaurants are equal.
Can
so
I
you're
use
not- there
can
is-
I
this
use
isn't
my
a- this isn't
can
a
I use my
unified
client
bar.
as an example? Am I allowed?
It's almost gross.
It's-
But go on.
Can I use a client as an example?
Are they paying for an
I'll
ad?
allow it. I'll allow it.
You'll allow Nick will allow it. No, they're not paying for an ad, but maybe I can make that happen.
I don't want their ad.
Okay.
You better
All right.
fucking
I do.
I do not.
Nick's like, please.
It'll be on
Petey
what's
the
other one?
dog. Petey the dog.
The Dave.
Step
The
into the
Dave.
sandbox?
It'll be on Step Into the Sandbox. That's fine.
My point being is there is a particular dish that the ghost kitchen that I represent does, and it is fucking delicious.
Great.
We should have it sent to Mike.
Oh my God. I don't know if I wanna. But my point is, when I
Blind tasting.
do order from them, that is a dish that I order because it's fucking delicious. Now, that happens to be an item on their menu that I like. And it's not so bad it's good. It's good. And I order it. That in no way, shape, or form substitutes for or replaces a traditional dining experience at a restaurant. However, if I'm ordering that on a Friday night because I have just dragged my ass through a week and I am home and I don't want to cook and I order and they send it over, I'm very happy eating the farro risotto with the grilled chicken and I'm happy. It's the same thing like ordering the bullshit pizza, or if I decide I don't want to order the bullshit pizza, I'm going to go to the pizza restaurant in my neighborhood, Cooper City, that happens to be good pizza for Cooper City. It ain't Stanzione, okay?
Right.
But they don't deliver, but if I wanted better pizza, I'm going to drag my ass over to them and I'm going to get it because I am willing to forsake the convenience of delivery to get a better product.
I would say
Nick,
that
You-
that
I'm
the
100% with you.
thank you, my friend.
This is why he doesn't want me having coffee with you.
no, you guys can have all the.
No, I
coffees
mean with
want.
you.
All the coffee.
All the coffee.
All the coffee.
I would say
Leave me out of it.
the ghost kitchen is equal. The ghost kitchen is equal to saying the ghost kitchen and the restaurant relationship is equal to saying the PR company versus the influencer on social media relationship.
So the PR company is Exxon, and the social media is the electric car. What is the?
Sure.
So the social media is coming from me
I
now. I don't know.
Obviously, don't feel the same way.
None of this makes sense.
It does. It absolutely does make sense
No.
because a lot of people feel like the influencer will replace the PR company, and you cannot.
Social
You
media.
cannot.
Based on our
tell
earlier
me I'm
conversation, the
fucking
social
wrong.
media will replace traditional media. So a social media influencer will replace traditional.
No. But how many people on the influencer circuit? 'Cause
Yes.
it's quite a circuit.
It's a circuit.
Will go out and say, "I'll do all your PR for you. I'll do all the things for you, and I'll get you all the things." Right?
Right, yeah.
Just pay me
Right.
because I have all this influence.
Right.
So the
How many social media influencers I now see on their Instagram handles now say publicist? A number.
I mean, I don't follow any of them, so I have no idea.
A number of them do.
You follow them?
How many of them are actually doing work now that they've changed their bios that qualifies as publicity?
Some.
Yeah.
Some.
Guys, I gotta take a leak.
Oh, another leak break? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go take another one. Just
Hey, you know what?
wait,
You
wait.
gotta do what you gotta do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we start our wind down. So
much has happened.
So much has happened.
What a lively chat we've had.
Very lively chat.
So
I'm sure
lively.
this won't be the last
All
time.
Ghost kitchens.
This won't be the last time we talk Ghost Kitchens with Larry Carrino on
It's
Panko
not the
Podcast.
It won't be the last time we talk about.
I will be
South
dreaming
Beach
about
Wine
the. I will be
Festival.
dreaming about the analogies.
None of this makes sense.
People dream about me all the time.
Welcome to Pancon Twilight Zone. This is where we do our parting recommendations, where everybody recommends a thing that they think that our listeners should eat, watch, read, listen to, whatever it might be. Larry, I know you're
is
ready.
Ghost Kitchen delivery through Uber Eats?
I think some.
Sure.
Some, yeah.
Some. Yeah, I can't speak to all the platforms.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just so many evil empires together.
All right. Larry, you have recommendations. What do you got for the people?
I prepared,
This
Nicholas.
is like when Anakin gets with like like the whole thing.
See, I
It's
can
just
talk to you Star Wars. We can't do Star Trek because I'm not a Trekkie. I'm a Star Wars person.
Like, yeah,
But I know you love all the sci-fis.
I do.
You do. All right, so I'll move quickly because I
Hit me
actually
with Babylon 5.
never watched. But God,
what a good show.
I'm not a sci-fi guy other than Star Wars. So I'll move quickly because I got 4
You're a surface
recommendations.
area sci-fi guy.
I'm more of a horror guy, and that's actually
I can't do that.
okay. So that's actually where I'm coming from with my recommendations. So 2 things to watch. Okay. First, these are 2. I love horror movies. I grew up watching horror movies. My mother got me into watching horror movies when I was a kid. 2 that I've not been able to shake for months now. One is called His House on Netflix, and it is like the best horror movies. It is a horror movie, but it is about something else, that there is subtext to it. And this one has a lot of, let's say, geopolitical subtext to it. Ooh. His House, it is creepy as fuck, but it is also...
Starring Donald Trump.
We're living it right now. But His House, definitely check it out. And another one is a movie that I have been completely haunted by since I watched it about a month or so ago, called Vivarium. With Jesse Eisenberg. Awesome. I believe it's British.
Jesse Eisenberg, the Social Network kid.
Indeed. This movie fucked me up. Okay. So those are 2. Amazing. The other one is, on the reading side, is a book that I'm reading now. Apparently it was made into a show that was on HBO, but I have not seen it, called I'll Be Gone in the Dark, which is a book about the Golden State Killer. And it's really well written and fascinating. And the last thing is, on the food side, is I finally got around to going to Itame, and I know that you have certainly been an ambassador for them. And as a matter of fact, the day that I went for lunch, who did I see?
I was there.
Michael Beltran.
Yeah.
And I was eating with none other than Susan Brustman.
My favorite person.
There you go. And she's like, "Is that Susan? Is that Michael? That is." And
I don't sound anything
no, that
like
was Susan.
this.
That was actually Susan.
Oh.
That was Susan.
No wonder. Now we sound alike.
No,
Perfect.
No, she's more the Jewish thing. You don't have the Jew thing going. But anyway,
Schmelling.
yeah. So we went, and Itame was absolutely friggin' delicious.
Yeah.
So I finally got around to going to Itame. Go check them out. Certainly, rather than sit here and spew about all the amazing clients I have, which I do,
All the ghost kitchens.
all the ghost kitchens. Check them out. Put all the traditional restaurants out of business, please.
Yep.
But those
Rents
are
go up.
those are my recommendations, with none of them being a client.
Oh, that's good.
Very good. Michael Beltran, what do you got?
I don't know.
All right, I'm going to recommend that people tune in for UFC 257.
Oh yeah.
This is January 23rd. The main event is Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier.
Well, McGregor.
That is...
I saw him like pretending to box on Instagram.
Listen, Conor McGregor is the real deal.
I know he's not a boxer though.
But he's a striker. He's not a
Yeah,
boxer.
no, I mean he could fuck someone up.
Yeah, he's
Indeed.
He's a mixed martial arts striker. He does a lot of different things. If you put Conor McGregor in a fight against a boxer that's not a boxing match, he will fuck the boxer up 100%.
I wonder if Conor would beat Ryan Garcia.
Yes, there is absolutely not in a boxing
Or
match.
like Luke Campbell.
Maybe not in a boxing match, but if
It's a boxing match. We're talking about a boxing match.
Okay,
They're
well,
boxers.
yeah. If it's a boxing match, I don't know. Probably not. I would not bet on Conor McGregor. If it's a striking match where you're able to do things like, for example, use your elbows, even if you can't take people to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's anything other than a boxing match, Conor McGregor wins that fight, including against Floyd Mayweather. But in a boxing match, you've changed the thing.
I don't know. Floyd is like one of the best boxers of all time.
But I'm not talking about a boxing match.
Okay.
Anyway, this is a lightweight fight. So Khabib Nurmagomedov is no longer in the running. He has retired.
Yes, he's coming back.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's coming back.
He says he's not. Dana White hopes he is. But in any case,
Sounds like he's coming back.
this at the very least has title implications. Whoever wins this fight will either end up fighting Khabib for a title, or will have the title themselves. So that is one recommendation. And also I'm going to recommend the Doug DeMuro YouTube channel. That's Doug, like you'd spell Doug, DEMURO, and he reviews cars, and it is fascinating.
Oh, yeah, he did show me this.
He's very good. He reviews a lot of very weird and rare, sometimes supercars, and it's a good time. He's very geeky, very nerdy. If you like geeky, nerdy shit, I'm not a car person, but I enjoy the hell out of watching this guy review cars. Those are my two recommendations. Michael Beltran, what do you got?
So honestly, since our last podcast, I haven't really had much time to do anything other than work. I love to dive into like terrible television. I love it, like terrible sci-fi, overall terrible TV. So I've been watching Shooter on Netflix, and it's pretty bad, and I love it. And I would.
Is it the thin crust Domino's pizza of TV?
I mean, it could be the ghost kitchen of TV.
It's the
but
ghost
it's
kitchen
not.
of TV.
It's not. People actually know where it's at.
Right.
So, it's actually got a location that they pay rent for. So, Shooter, I rather enjoyed. And I actually dipped back into an old book, the Pools Diner book, which I think is still amazing, and I would recommend anyone who hasn't read that book to read it. She does great work and it's very good. Food-wise, I would recommend all ghost kitchens so we can continue to put brick and mortars out of business.
Here.
Yeah, let's just all jump on that bandwagon.
I
so
can't
we
wait.
do it together.
Very good. So those were our recommendations. This is where I do our shameless plugs. Michael Beltran, any shameless plugs you want to throw in there? Do all your things.
Just whoever pays us is fine.
That's not how that works. This is plugging your own stuff.
Oh, yeah. Come to Nave, Miami, please. Wednesday through Sunday, we're open from 5 to 10, 5 to 11, something like that. Eat yourself some good pasta, and I really enjoy the swordfish dish there. Or come to Ariete. Ariete actually turns 5 5 years old on January 17th. That we're actually attempting to get a gospel choir to come and perform on the 17th. Larry is spearheading this for me because I do not have the
full
bandwidth
service
to do
PR. I'm sourcing gospel choirs. I mean, when you think gospel choirs, think Larry Carrino.
And I have to say that I've talked to my partners, all the directors in the company, and I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna get a gospel choir, and they're like, why? I'm like, I don't know, why not? Like, I don't know.
Is the Sade brunch still on?
What's funny about the Sade brunch is Gio, Senor Pastelito Papi himself, comes up to me like 3 days ago. He goes, yo, dog. And he's like so serious. I'm like, oh, what's up, man? You all right? He's like, Sade brunch is soon, dog. What are we going to do? And I was like, oh, my God. I was like, oh, I didn't even like think about it. Like, fuck, yeah, I know.
Just play some Sade, man.
I know, Sade, and we're going to talk about it on the next episode of Punk Podcast.
I was wondering what the whole Sade thing is. I don't.
What do you mean?
I got a hint of that there was a deep affection for Sade.
Yeah.
I was just curious. I did not know this about you. I was also stunned by your big endorsement of Darkness on the Edge of Town.
Oh, but Bruce.
I love my Bruce.
I
love
would
Bruce.
say that Bruce and Sade are on the same pedestal.
Maybe I need to listen to more Sade. Maybe I've never given the young lady.
I mean, I don't know. Like, you have to be in a certain type of mood and doing a certain type of thing to listen to Sade and understand it.
I don't know if I'm capable of those things.
Yeah, I mean, you may not be.
I don't think you look at me and you go, that guy likes Sade.
You look like a smooth operator.
I look like oh.
No, but
well, you see what you did there?
You definitely look like a Glory Days guy to me. Yeah, Glory Days.
I know the song. I love Bruce.
I like to shut your mouth. I know it. You don't explain that shit to me.
You sound like my Colombian barber. Whenever I said anything that's remotely not white,
This is so racist.
No,
this
no,
whole
it's
podcast
not.
is off the rails.
I love Steven.
They're gonna take us off the air.
No, I love Steven. Anytime I say anything that's remotely,
His name is Steven. He's
Steven.
Colombian.
He's Steven Moreno. Steven Moreno.
Okay.
He cuts my hair. He cuts my kids' hair. My kids love him. Anytime I say young guy,
Your hair looks great.
fantastic. What's left of it, and it's all gray because of you.
Yeah.
But anytime I say anything
Let's
that's
talk
not
about
remotely
Mike Beltran.
white, he goes, "How do you know about Coquito?" I'm like, "What the fuck, man? Like, what do you? I know that I'm just this big white guy."
Because I wouldn't understand Bruce Springsteen because I'm Cuban.
No, it's because what you said to me
Uh-huh.
was where you were like, "Yeah, you look like someone who would like Glory Days." Where I'm like, "Don't paint me in a box."
That's good. That's a good.
Don't pay
That's
me
a
in a
solid
box.
point. That's a solid point.
Don't pay-
Solid point.
So when I say something like Coquito, he goes like, "What do you know about Coquito?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Do you buy it at Sedano's?" I'm like, "What the fuck, man? Like, I can know Coquito. I know I'm white. I know I'm square.
Well-
But give me some credit."
the beautiful story about myself and Bruce Springsteen, which
The
one
boss.
day we'll hopefully have Bruce Springsteen on the show.
I would
Bruce,
love
if you're
that.
out there,
that'd be
just,
amazing.
You know, it would be great.
My number is
Yeah. When I was working at the Cypress Room, and like Cypress Room was a tough job. It was very tough, and we worked hard. The food was great. One of my cooks, that's a former guest on this podcast, Chris Hughesby, which is a very dear friend of mine, was like, let's listen to some Bruce Springsteen now. And at that point, I didn't know a lot. Mm-hmm. And that's actually the same time that I got into records. So Chris introduced me to the boss, and then my grandfather actually gave me his record player. And then at that time, I was like digging in my grandparents' things in my former room that I had in my grandparents' house, and I found a box that was of my uncle's that has passed away, and it was one of his first records that was a collection of Springsteen from 75 to 85, all live records, and I still have it.
wow.
And that, like, when you listen to No Surrender live, it's a completely different experience. So that is why, like, I learned about what it really was like, that Americana rock and roll, because of that time frame. And it connects me to a time in my life that was albeit very tumultuous, was very fruitful to the future of me because, and the only thing that was very constant were three things, which was Bruce Springsteen, St. Paul and the Broken Bones, and Sade.
Okay.
Sade was every Saturday, but that was like for my career for the last 10 years. And St. Paul and the Broken Bones was new. And then Bruce was something that Chris and Roel at the time was like, yeah, this is the boss. Mm-hmm. Roel's from Jersey, so it made sense.
Right.
So, yeah, Bruce, I mean, I actually right now currently have a CD of Bruce Springsteen in my car playing.
What album?
It's the greatest hits.
The Essential.
Yeah. I mean, I have all the actual vinyls.
Right.
But
hey, you can't go wrong with a good greatest hits.
Well,
it's nice.
Like Springsteen, you need the first 5 albums because the other ones, let's be honest, they just didn't do it. But the first 5 were historically great
albums
for music.
Yeah.
Overall.
Agreed.
So I guess my recommendation is to listen to
Bruce Springsteen,
Thunder Road, Born to Run, and Darkness on the Edge of Town. That's what I got.
Very good.
Yeah.
But do you have shameless plugs? You already did those.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, shameless plugs. Yeah, go to Nave, Miami.
Yeah.
Go to Ariete. Taurus is open. Chugs is under construction.
5-year anniversary coming up.
That's right. On the 17th, there will be a gospel choir. There will be drink specials that I don't know right now.
We'll have Publix cake.
That's been the last 2 years.
Are we having Publix cake?
Right. We did Publix cake for the last 2 years because it's a very Miami.
I came for the 4-year anniversary. I didn't get my cake, by the way, Nick.
I didn't either.
There was so much cake left. It's
didn't-
shocking that you didn't get any.
I mean, look at me. Clearly, I have been robbed of cake in my life, but I didn't get my cake.
Will you be bringing your whole staff?
I'll see what I can do.
There will be cake.
You're
for
comping us, right?
absolutely
Full comp.
It depends.
My two favorite.
As long as you post it on Instagram.
My
it
two
depends
favorite
if I
words.
could only
Full comp.
if I could only deliver it to your house and not have you actually in the space.
I like
that
the
I pay rent
experience
for.
and the privacy of my own home.
That's
There we go.
Now let me put it in a brown box for you.
Exactly.
What's in the box?
Great movie.
And this is where I do our own shameless plugs.
What a
Banco
train wreck for
Podcast.
the first episode.
Banco
God
Podcast
bless.
on all the things that are on social media.
We're storming the Capitol.
DADEMag.com/Banco Podcast. If
Jurassic
you want to
Park.
support this thing,
Mad Max Fury Road.
Patreon.com/Banco Podcast.
I'd like to say I support Larry.
For as little as $1 a month, you can support what we're doing here.
you.
If you pledge enough, you might get a mug. And if you pledge even more, you might get a tote bag.
I'd like to say that I don't have a mug.
I don't have a mug either.
I don't have a mug.
Proves
Two
how
people,
broke we are.
2 people in the world have mugs.
Thanks, man.
And one is gonna have a mug for a while. So shout out to Mabel de Beunza and Philip Bennett, and also to Henry Gomez, who will get a mug if he sticks around long enough on
I don't know who the
Patreon.
fuck Henry is, but
You
God
met him
bless
here. You met him here during the Tyson fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was sitting right next to me.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Henry's a Patreon guy now. So shout out to Henry,
Love you, Henry.
and also shout out
thank
to
you so much.
he's not gonna get a mug because of the tier he's in, but shout out to Andy Jumbarba, one of our new patrons.
Oh, man, Andy. God
Andy
bless.
Jumbarba, and
One of
also
the best
Elisa.
human
Thank you
beings
to
I know.
Elisa, who is one of the few people on Patreon who we've never met. She actually came to us because she was a fan of Vicky and Vanessa's, listened to that one, and has stuck around. I think she might like us more than she likes them by now.
I don't think that that's possible.
Probably not.
That's Vicky and Vanessa are much better humans than we are. We
Podcast.
gotta end this thing. This has gone too far.
Well, but if you stick around after this, you'll hear you're doing 5 questions you haven't come
5
up with yet.
questions.
All right, but it's got to be like a rapid fire thing because 5 questions with you could take a long time.
That's accurate.
All right. Well,
Fair.
after this, if you're a Patreon person, exclusive to Patreon, there's an extended cut, and you will get Mike's 5 questions for Larry Carrino.
No one wants to miss that.
No one wants to miss it except maybe everybody. So, thank you very much. Goodbye.